Welcome to our channel. The TP Link Omada Controller offers a range of options related to captive portal authentication. Today we'll be going over all the different options and explaining their differences so that you can select the one that suits you best. So let's create a new portal and let's enable the portal. The first option that we see here is no authentication. This is just a button that the user will click in order to gain access on the network. And this is a very simple option which provides the venue owner with the opportunity to engage with their customer and present their brand. So for example, they can change the background and the logo, and they can also add some type of text like their terms and conditions and copyright information. After that, the second option is simple password, where the user has to enter a password to access the network, and that password is set here globally. The third option is hotspot, and then hotspot has various sub options. For example, the first one is voucher, where we can create vouchers, and then you can provide those vouchers in a printed form to your users, and they can enter the voucher code to access the network. So this section provides several options to generate vouchers, for example, their duration, their bandwidth, rate limit, etc. After vouchers, the second option is local users. So you can create local users, and each user will have a username, password, and some optional features like rate limits. So when the user enters those user credentials, they can get access to the network. The third option is SMS, and here Omada supports integration with Twilio. So the SMS OTP based phone number verification will be done using Twilio's API. So we'll need to create an account with Twilio and enter the account information here. Based on that, we can integrate SMS based verification of phone numbers. The next option is radius, and this one is rather similar to the local user option that we saw earlier, where the user has to enter a username and password to access the network. The difference is that the user is not created locally. In this case, the users are created on Radius, and once the user enters their username password, a request goes to the Radius server that we have configured, and the username password are checked on the Radius server. Here we have the option to create a Radius profile and enter the IP address and secret of the Radius server. The last option is form authentication. Here we are asking the user to fill a form. For example, it can be some type of survey, and based on that, the user can get access to the network. Here is the option to create a form where we have a drag and drop type widget where we can create different types of form fields like text fields, checkboxes, drop downs, star rating, things like that. This allows us to create a customized form, and after the user fills out the form, they can get access to the network. So these were various options for hotspot portal. Now let's look at other types of portals. The next authentication type is radius server. This is kind of similar to the hotspot based radius sub option that we saw earlier. A difference is that here you have the option to connect to an external web portal. So we'll have an external captive portal where you can have your custom user engagement flow, and at the very end we would send those credentials that the user has entered to the Omada controller, which would then pass them to the radius server. In the hotspot based option, the portal was local, and in this case it's possible to have an external web portal that would connect to a radius server. Similar to the radius server authentication type is the external LDAP server authentication type, where instead of using radius, we'll be using an LDAP profile, and that would be used for verifying the credentials that the user enters. The final option is external portal server, and here we connect with an external captive portal, and on the captive portal you're going to have your custom user engagement flow, and then at the very end we are going to use an API call to authorize the user on the network. So these were the various types of captive portal authentication that are available on the TP Link Omada controller. Based on this, you can choose whatever option suits you best. We hope you found this information useful. Thanks and have a nice day.